Today, we're talking dip nail polish, but before I can do anything, I need to remove the old nail polish. So I bought this gadget called the Willow Wash. It basically heats up the acetone on the inside. So all you do is fold up and put a paper towel on the inside there. You're going to pour 1/3 of a cup of acetone into the Willow Wash, then you're going to turn it on and it will slowly heat up to a nice warm temperature, the acetone, so that when you put your fingernails in there, it will kind of eat away at the nail polish quicker. So you're going to start by filing off some of the nail polish that is there, because this is a dip nail polish that was on there before, and I am using something called an electric file or an e-file. And I'm just going over the nails and it's taking off just kind of a light layer of the nail polish, kind of helping along the process of removing the nail polish. You do not, I repeat, you do not want to go all the way down to your bare nail. One, that would hurt, and two, you will do damage to your nail. So you're really just taking off a thin layer of some of the nail polish that is there. So there are two different ways of doing this. The first time I did it, I just used a nail file, then I bought the electric file. This is only my third time of doing it, so I wanted to show you that either way was an option. Then it was time to soak it off. I stuck my fingers in there and it wasn't real comfortable, I've got to be honest. So I had to take the top off of the Willow Wash, and lo and behold, that was much better. So they do tell you in there that you should be moving your fingers around on that paper towel, trying to help aid the nail polish removal. After 5 minutes of soaking, almost all of the nail polish had kind of gone away, and I started to use some tools, and it took a total of 7 minutes for my first hand to be completely clear of any nail polish. On to the second hand, and that only took 5 minutes for all of the nail polish to be cleared off of my fingers. Remember, all I'm doing is moving my fingernails against the paper towel, and so I think that you could probably do this having two different sized bowls, a smaller bowl with a paper towel folded in it, and a larger bowl that had some warm water to warm up the acetone. So you don't need to have the Willow Wash. It is nice, I would say that, but it's certainly money you don't need to spend. Now I decided to change from doing my nails with gel nail polish to dip polish. One, my sister had been getting her nails done professionally and said that the dip nail polish worked that much better. After your nail polish has been removed, use some rubbing alcohol and wipe it on your fingernails to kind of dry them out and prepare them for the painting process. Before you can begin painting, you need to prep your nails. So you are going to push back your cuticles and cut and file your nails into the shape you desire. This is only my third time of doing dip nail polish, so I'm certainly no professional. All I wanted to do was show you that it's easily done. The first time I was a nervous wreck that I was going to make a mistake. The second time I felt I did a little bit better, but I saw places for improvement. And this third time I think it came out great, so I'm getting more confident with each time that I'm doing it. Before you get started with the dip process, you do need to do a light filing on the top of your fingernails. Do not go too hard on this, just scuffing them up a little bit to give the dip polish something to adhere to. After you have lightly scuffed up the top of your nails, make sure that you go over them with an alcohol cloth again to get off any of the residue. So all I did was buy this kit. It came with everything that I needed. I found that to be the most economical thing for me, but you can buy the pieces individually, so you do whatever will work for you if you're considering this. But once again, you are wiping off your nails with that alcohol wipe to make sure that there is nothing on there, and you're going to apply step 1. It doesn't matter which type of kit you buy, step 1 is always going to be applied first, obviously, that's why it's number 1, and it is just preparing your nail for the polish. Okay, before you use any of the powders, you're going to want to stir them with a toothpick. Now we're moving on to bottle number 2, which in this brand is called the Bond step. You are going to paint a stripe down the middle of your fingernail. Make sure this only goes 3/4 of the way down towards your cuticle. You're going to dip your finger either in the neutral or clear powder and then move on to the next one, once again only going 3/4 of the way down. This extra buildup of powder will help your nails have the correct shape when you're all done. I always dip my nail into the powder twice just to make sure that every part of the Bond has powder sticking to it. So all you're doing is painting and then dip, and knock any of the excess powder off of your finger and go on to the next nail. You'll paint, dip, and knock the excess powder off. As I said before, this is only my third time of doing this. The way that I know how to do it is because I watched so many videos and read so many vlogs on what to do. And I'm just trying to impart what I learned to make it a little bit easier for somebody trying for the first time. One of the areas that I saw a lot of people complaining about when they were doing their dip nails or even gel nails is around the perimeter as it grows out. A little space kind of is created between the nail and the side of the polish. And this causes a frustration because then your nail polish is kind of catching on things throughout the day. So after you've done this center stripe on all 10 of your nails, you're going to go back with kind of a puffy brush, almost like a makeup brush, and you are going to knock off any of that powder that has been stuck to your fingers and to the nail itself that didn't adhere. So now you're onto the color. Give that a good stir, and you're ready to put on a coat of the bond over top of the entire nail. So go over what you've already painted, being very careful not to touch any of your skin. Get down as close as you can to the cuticle and over to the side as much as you can. You want to do a thin coat of this. You're going to dip, do that twice just to make sure that every single bit of it has been coated, and then knock off any of the excess powder and move on to the next nail. When you are dipping your nail in, you're going in at a slight angle. You're not going straight up and down. So I'm doing dip, tap, and then moving on to the next one. I really like doing my nails, but I don't like going to get them professionally done. I prefer to save the money. This saves me a lot of money. I can do it from the comfort of my home when I'm in the mood to do this. Here I remembered that I should have put out a piece of wax paper, something that I did the other 2 times and forgot to do this time. So make sure you do this step, and you'll see why, because I'm knocking a lot of powder off, and you want to save that powder and put it back in the powder canister. In order to keep this economical, you want to save as much of the product as you can. Once again, putting on light coats, dip, tap it off, and you will see that some of the powder is falling there. Use that puffy brush at the end of all 10 nails and brush off the top and the back of your fingers and go on to the second coat of color. As the saying goes, I am not dead yet, so I still want my nails to look good, and I can do it at home, and hopefully in not too much time I will be seeing results that look professional. If you get this bond on your skin at all, make sure you are using a toothpick or something to clean it off. Remember to brush off the excess powder again, and if your nails are sticky on the top, that means you did not get enough dip product, so you want dip maybe a 3rd time if that's happening to you. Also wait a minute or 2 so it becomes less tacky. Now it's time for the final coat, and you can either do this in clear. I choose to do it in the same color. I was using a lighter color, so I wanted it to be darker. So at a minimum, you are going to have 2 layers of the color and then a 3rd layer of clear on top, or you can do 3 layers of the color. It is your choice. So you're just gonna roll up this piece of wax paper or parchment paper, or even a piece of typing paper would work. Pour the extra product in there, and you have more to use the next time. Make sure that you clean off the top of the bond polish before putting it away, where it could get glued shut. So just clean it off really well with some acetone nail polish remover or rubbing alcohol will work. Just make sure to get it very clean before you put the brush back on. Step number 3 is the activator. This is kind of where the magic happens, and it hardens that bond. So this is where your nail is actually becoming nice and hard. During this step, wipe your brush on the paper towel in between each dip into the nail polish pot so you don't get any color inside that polish. You want this bottle of activator to last as long as possible. You've spent money on this, so keep it clean and it will last a long time. All right, one of the things that you need to do at this point is go ahead and you are going to file your entire nail. So the powder has added some, fibers to your nail. And so you're going to need to reshape them, and you are going to especially reshape and file along the edges. So anywhere that it is touching skin, you want to make sure that you file that down. And that's why you put that third coat of powder on the top so that you could file it. And then you'll lightly buff over the top and try to smooth everything out before you end up putting the top coat on. Once again, you're really going to want to get down near that cuticle and make sure that you get that very thinned out. And you're really concentrating on the outside portion more than you are on the center portion. If you don't get this completely buffed out nice and smoothly, then you are going to see those bumps once you put your top coat on. All right, it's time to put on a second coat of activator, but you are going to rinse your fingers first, get any and all dust off from filing. Put a second coat of activator on top. After a minute or two, that activator is dry and it is time to put on the top coat. You're going to be extremely careful when you put the top coat on. You're only going to do one hand at a time. You're going to let it sit for 2 to 5 minutes, however long it takes to dry. You're going to put on a thin coat, not a thick coat. I can't stress enough that you don't want to do anything during this time, because if you bump it, you're going to have a big dent in your fingernails at this point in time. Okay, we are finally done with our dip nail polish, and hopefully I've inspired you to give it a try and save yourself a little bit of money from going to get it professionally done. You've got this. Remember, live a little and save a little money too. Thank you for joining us at Not Dead Yet.